असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत। Good evening, friends. This prayer in Sanskrit means that, O Divine Mother, the creative forces are requested to please take me from the unreal to the real. Please take me from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge. Please take me from death to eternity. The essence of this prayer is this: in spirituality, what all we see, what we experience through the physical body, the objects, relationships, and everything else which are experienced by all the five senses are unreal. Unreal doesn't mean that something doesn't exist. Unreal means it doesn't exist permanently. Anything which exists for a temporary period is called unreal. Reality should exist eternally, all the time. It should be beyond space time. Our physical body itself lives for maybe 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 100 years. After that it dies. So it's unreal. Our relationships, they too don't last for long. They are unreal. The mountains, the river, the earth, the sun, moon, everything is subject to decay. So they are also unreal. Now, what is the reality? The reality is our being. We are human beings. Within human beings, there are two entities, they are joined together. Human being is not one single entity. There's a human aspect and there's a being aspect. They join together, becomes human being. While we know the human aspect, we do not know the being aspect. Human is temporary, being is permanent. Human takes birth and human dies. The being remains eternally. Our life journey is between these two entities. The whole journey is between these two entities, from human to being. If you are able to walk this path, if you are able to fulfill or achieve or reach your destination, which is being, if you are able to complete your journey from human to being, you have lived the life of a human being. You have lived the life for which it is given to us, for which purpose it is given to you. You have lived your life. But if you have taken birth as human and if you die as human, without realizing the being in it, you have not achieved the purpose of getting the physical body of a human being. God has provided this physical body of a human being to achieve this purpose, that, oh human being, go to the world and realize the being in it. Because as per the Indian scriptures, there are 8.4 million species, right from an ant to an elephant, from a mosquito to a bird, from a fish to a shark. There are millions of species, different kinds of bodies, different shapes, with different qualities. But none of these species have the potential to know the being. Even though the being exists in them also, but they don't have the potential to know the being. They cannot realize the being in the species, in that physical body. It is only human body. It is only the human physical body which has the potential to know the being in it. Now imagine what kind of lucky we are, what kind of destiny with which we have come to this world, what kind of grace the God has on us, having given the physical body of a human being. Out of 8.4 lakh species, the only species which can realize the self, the only species which can realize the true self, the only species which can realize the being, the only species which can realize the God. No other species, not only in this planet, but in no other planet, it is available. How lucky we must be. Having got this luck, having got the grace of the God, are we really making Him proud? That merciful God who has given us this most difficult life, the most difficult life, the most potential life, that merciful God who has given us this potential life, are we making Him happy? Are we fulfilling His objective for which He has sent here? Not only that, We are unfortunate beings that even the human aspect, we do not know it completely. Even the human aspect, leave aside the being aspect. Leave aside the being aspect. Even the human aspect, we don't know it fully, properly. You know how much of potential powers we use as human being? The potential powers which we have and how much of it we use. Any idea? Very small? Just 5%. Just 5%. Ordinary human beings do not use more than 5% of their potential powers. And the most successful human being, the most successful, be it in business or as a scientist or a sports person, whoever is known by the world has not used his or her potential powers more than 10%. 90% of our potential powers goes waste. And this 90% potential powers are available in our physical body to be invoked and know much more than what ordinary human beings know. Many of you who have come to Rishikesh, many of you practice yoga, meditation. You would have known what kind of supernatural experiences the yogis have, what kind of supernatural experiences and states the spiritual masters would have enjoyed, which ordinary human being does not enjoy, does not experience. There are many more such experiences we need to tap, and I can only assure you, they appear to be 90% of potential powers. They appear to be supernatural. So many times we feel that they are difficult to experience and achieve. But I can assure you, to realize the being, to know the being, it is the most easiest job. Much easier than even drinking water. In Indian scriptures, there are many enlightened people like King Janaka, if you have heard, I don't know, who have got enlightened in few minutes. There are some enlightened souls who have realized that aspect of being in couple of years. And there are many people who have spent hundreds of years in spiritual practices and yet they have not realized. They are still in the process. There are various processes available through which we can realize that being in the human, that being in the human being and become the God yourself. There are easier processes available. Don't mistake here by my saying that you will become God. That doesn't mean that you'll have all the godly powers and you'll do and something will get created. You'll disappear here and then appear somewhere else. They are yogic powers. They are supernatural powers. I am not talking of them. I am talking of the purest form of being, that which is also called as pure consciousness, the supreme consciousness. Normally a human being acts within three types of consciousness: consciousness, subconsciousness, and unconsciousness, which is also called as awakened state, dream state, deep sleep state. Normal human beings, they operate within three types of consciousness. And these three types of consciousness are also called modifying consciousness. Either we are in awakened state, or we are in a dream state, or we are in a deep sleep state. We are never in two states simultaneously. We can only be in one of these three states. Till we operate our life within these three states, awakened state, dream state, or deep sleep state, we are only human beings. The day we realize the fourth consciousness, that supreme consciousness, that pure consciousness, then you become an enlightened being. You don't remain an ordinary human being, but you become an enlightened being. That fourth consciousness is not a modifying consciousness. It is static, it is eternal, it is always present at every place, at all the times, be it night, morning, or any other time. This fourth state of consciousness is beyond time and space. If we realize this consciousness and establish ourselves in that fourth consciousness, the supreme consciousness, we become enlightened. Once we become enlightened, then this prayer which I made in the starting, O Divine Mother, please take me from unreal to real. Yes, we go to the real aspect. O Divine Mother, please take me from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge. Yes, in that state, we get established in the light of knowledge. Oh Mother, please take me from death to eternity. You will never ever die as pure consciousness. Physical body may die, but as pure consciousness, you will not die. You become eternal. You become Buddha. Many people have different perceptions about God. In India, there are millions of gods in different forms. In other religions, there is only one God. So there are people who get confused also as to what is the real God? Who's the real God? In my perception, God means that energy which can generate, operate, and destruct is God. The full form of God is generation, operation, and destruction. That energy, that supreme consciousness, which is formless, which is beyond form. God has to be beyond form. The ultimate, almighty, the divine being is formless, omnipresent, omnipotent. It can generate anything, it can operate anything, it can create destruction or dissolve back. If we don't call destruction, we can call it as dissolve back within itself. These aspects, that energy which has, is called God. So here, in real sense, there is no dispute between whose God is superior, whose God is inferior, whose God should we believe, which God should we pray. The various gods which are believed to be, they only act as medium to get connected to the Supreme God. Whether it is Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Jesus or Allah or anybody else for that matter, be it Moses or Shankaracharya here in India or Ramakrishna Paramhans or Shivananda or anybody else for that matter, they all become a medium through which you can get connected to the Supreme Divine Being. As I said, our journey of a human being starts from being human to being the being. And within being also, the reality is be. Be. In be, there is no change, there is no action, there is no reaction. The be is eternal, be is supreme. How does the be becomes being? That be, originally it is be, when it gets into some physical body and when it starts acting, actions, reactions, then that be becomes being. Like do, doing, come, coming, go, going. Be becomes being. Be in being forgets itself while being something. Now, if you want to complete this journey from human to being and realize your true self, and you want to establish in that eternity, first you have to become a good human being, a good human, a peaceful human, a human filled with inner joy, inner happiness, a human which helps every other being, which serves every other being, whose mind is always in a static mode, without any variations. Because it is the mind which can help you to complete this journey from human to being. You know who's in between human and being? Here there's a third entity enters. It's a good movie. It's a good play. There's a surprise entity which enters between the human and the being. And the surprise entity is the mind. The mind enters the movie here. There's a climax. Now it is the mind in between. One side is the human, in between the mind, on the other side the being. On whichever entity the mind focuses on, you become that. If the mind focuses on the human aspect, you remain as a human. If the mind focuses on the being aspect, you become the being. Then and there itself, the moment the mind focuses, the moment the mind shifts its focus, you become that. Buddha has said, Lord Buddha has said, what the mind thinks, that you become. What the mind imagines, that you attract. What the mind feels, that you create. So here now the focus shifts from the human and the being to the mind. In Sanskrit it is said, Man evam manushyanam bandha mokshayo karanam. It means the mind can bind you to the world and the same mind can liberate you also. The mind can put you into the darkness of ignorance and the same mind can create the light of knowledge. The mind can make you feel that you are dying and the same mind can make you feel that you are eternal. You are beyond death. You don't die at all. It is the same mind which can make you feel this way or that way. If you know how to control your mind, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve, including the ultimate enlightenment. If you don't know how to control your mind, then the mind knows how to control you. And that is what is happening. Since we don't know how to control our mind, mind has started controlling us. Now you should learn to control your mind and become that which you are originally supposed to become. This mind or the soul, I can also give another name to this. There's a soul aspect. Soul consists of mind also. Whether we call it mind or soul, it should be one and the same. It is something like in a mobile phone, you have a chip. Mobile phone is something like our physical body. Till the chip is inside the mobile phone, you are able to operate the mobile phone. Till the chip is inside the mobile phone, you can use all the functions of the mobile phone. But the moment you remove, you get disconnected. In the same way, our chip is the soul. In this mobile phone, this is the mobile phone. The chip which is there in this mobile phone keeps shifting from one model to the another model, from another model to the third model. The chip remains same. Whether you buy a mobile phone of Samsung or Nokia or iPhone, the chip remains same. It doesn't change. The model of the mobile phone changes. Likewise, the model of our physical body changes, but the soul within that doesn't change. It remains same. Those who know this aspect, they start withdrawing from the attachments to the physical body. Today we believe that we are this. Today we know, we believe that we are the entity by which we are known by the world. If I know that I am the entity, I am known by Sadguru Rameshji, and that is the real entity, then I am ignorant, I am not enlightened. And if I know that that name, Sadguru Rameshji, is given to this physical body, because that name could have been something else. Had it not been Rameshji, it could have been Sureshji, it could have been Shivananda, it could have been Ramakrishna Paramahansa, or it could have been anything else. The knowledge, when it remains all the time that I am not the physical body and I am the true self, the chip inside the physical body, whether this physical body remains or doesn't remain, I continue to remain, then I am enlightened. That chip, that soul, that being is not known to the world. Only what is appearing as physical body is known. So our journey is from the known to the unknown. Our journey is from known to unknown. We only know this physical body. We know what we eat, how we breathe, what all we should eat and what we should not eat, and what we should do and what we should not do, how to behave and how not to behave, how to act and how to react. Even that we don't know perfectly. We are not good masters in behavioral aspects because we don't know how to control our mind. If you start controlling your mind, if you are able to master your mind, mind will behave the way you want it to behave. Many people come to us and say, Guruji, what should we do? My mind is very negative. It thinks negative. It goes into depression. It emanates a lot of desires. What do I do? How to get out of the negativity? You know, if we throw something up in the sky, take a ball or a stone and throw it up in the sky, where does it go? Will it go up in the sky? Or it will fall on the ground? It will fall on the ground. Why does it fall on the ground? Because there's a gravitational force in this earth which is attracting everything towards it. So when we throw something up, that object comes down and falls on the earth. Negativity has similar kind of gravitational force for the mind. If you don't control your mind, if you don't think positive, if you don't emanate love and affection towards every soul in the creation, and if you allow the mind to remain the way it wants to remain, then the mind has a tendency to fall down. The negativity has the gravitational force, it pulls the mind towards it. But you would have seen a helicopter. A helicopter can remain in the air. It doesn't fall down. Why doesn't it fall down? If there's a gravitational force on the earth, why doesn't a helicopter fall down? A helicopter was flown up. Why doesn't it fall down? Because there's a rotor blade which is moving on top of the helicopter that is creating another force against the gravitational force. So it is able to remain stagnant in the air, isn't it? Similarly, if you want your mind not to become negative, negativity is pulling the mind. Negativity has all the gravitational force. It is pulling the mind. If you don't want your mind to think negative, you have to switch on the rotor blade of your mind. And all the time it should run. It should rotate. The moment the rotor blades of the helicopter stops, it will fall down. Now here, what is the rotor blade in the mind? It is always thinking positive, always emanating love and affection for every soul and every being, always praying for everybody's well-being, never get hurt by others' actions or reactions, never feel emotionals by others' wrong behavior, the way we call it as the wrong behavior. Though nobody behaves wrongly with us, but we perceive them as wrong. If you stop doing all this, and if you start doing all this, if you start thinking positively, making positive affirmations, if you improve your behavior, don't create enmity, no jealousy, always pray for well-being of everyone, then your rotor blade is on. And when the rotor blade is on, mind can never think negative. The first step towards realizing the being in the human being is to make the mind always fly high. As a physical body, you will move around all the places. As the physical body, you will eat. You will do something, maybe business, profession. You're in the family. You will do everything which every other ordinary human being would do. While doing all these physical actions, yet within the heart, you can remain at peace. While the physical body is in action in the world, you can be at peace within. If you can achieve this, that your physical actions doesn't create any actions or reaction in the mind, and the mind always remains at peace, the self, the being, the pure consciousness will start reflecting in this peaceful mind. If you would have noticed somewhere in a pond, there's a water in the pond, and in the night you see moon over the pond in the sky. The moon would be reflecting in the light, in the water. You throw a stone in the pond, and the ripples get created in the water. When you throw a stone, ripples get created. In the ripples, you cannot see the reflection of the moon. So for the self, for the being, for the Almighty, for the God, for that pure consciousness to reflect in your mind, you have to first still your mind. Make the mind peaceful. And to make the mind peaceful, one of the most important aspect is to have a positive behavior and a positive attitude. Because mind is always into behavior with somebody or the other, thinking something or the other. If your behavior is positive, if your attitude is positive, mind will start calming down. It starts becoming still. And to practice good behavior, I think everyone has got this, a pamphlet kind of thing. There are some 10 secrets. If this could be practiced, you will experience not only a peaceful mind, not only a still mind, you will experience a blissful mind. You will start enjoying the bliss from within. The fountain of bliss is always on in the heart. But because of the negative aspects of the mind, because of the drifting nature of the mind, it doesn't allow the fountain of bliss to make us experience. It doesn't allow the fountain of bliss to spread out. It blocks that fountain of bliss. These are simple tips. You can read it later on. Out of all this, I can only take 1 or 2 points. And the most important aspect of a good behavior and an attitude is dropping down expectations. In the morning sessions also, in the today's morning session, we talked of expectation. Drop expectations and increase acceptance level. Accept everything the way things are. Accept every being the way they are. The mind drifts, the mind becomes negative, the mind becomes agitated only when you don't accept things as they are. You walk on the road of Rishikesh, you will find it dirty. You find filth spread everywhere. You find dogs lying on the road, sleeping. They are happy beings. They create unhappiness in you. Or you create unhappiness in yourself. This again means that we are not good human beings because we don't like others' happiness. If you are a good human being, seeing the dogs sleeping on the road, lying down on the road, sleeping a buffalo on the road, peacefully sleeping on the road, you will feel happy. How happy and peaceful is this being? Will not crib, will not complain. If you are a happy being inside, even such scene, the extreme scene I am saying, normal human being gets agitated with such things. But if you are a happy being, you will enjoy even this kind of scenes. Wow. All enlightened people became this. They always remain unmindful of what is happening around. Mind is always at peace. And that is possible. You have to drop expectations, increase acceptance. Another very important aspect which I wanted to reveal to some of our friends. Knowingly or unknowingly, we would have hurt many people in our life, not only in this life, in previous lives also. Forget of who was right or who was wrong. We fight with people, we hurt people because we think we were right during that situation. Forget of who was right or who was wrong. If you have hurt one soul, that soul would have emanated negative vibrations against you. If you would have hurt our parents, our brothers, sisters, children, or somebody walking on the road, a known person or an unknown person, or a friend, or even a beggar. If you have hurt anybody's sentiments, you would have certainly attracted lot of negative vibrations from that soul. And these negative vibrations are like arrows thrown at you. These negative vibrations will be haunting you. Maybe for some time you are very positive, you are confident, you don't bother about anything happening around you, you don't allow your mind to become negative or weak till the time you are within a protective shield. But these arrows have already left, they are haunting you. The day you become physically or mentally weak, these arrows will strike you. These arrows in the form of others' negative vibrations will be striking at you. They'll be haunting. And as we in India believe, in the Indian scriptures, it is said, if these negative vibrations, which I am talking as arrows, if they cannot hit you or strike you in this birth, they will strike you in the next birth. If not in the next birth, after 100 births, but until they strike you, they won't vanish from the cosmos. These are also called as negative cosmic vibrations. Now imagine, knowingly or unknowingly, how many people we would have hurt. How many people we would have made them cry through our wrong behavior and attitude. And in most of the cases, I know we hurt the sentiments of the people of our close family members in the first instance. Maybe parents, maybe spouse, maybe brothers, sisters, because with them you are in day-to-day touch, you are in a behavioral aspect, or your friends with whom you are moving around. They are the first whom knowingly or unknowingly you hurt. And then there could be many more. To protect ourselves from others' negative vibrations, there's a beautiful technique. You can protect yourself from others' negative vibrations through a technique called forgiveness technique. Because these vibrations are of invisible form. They are not in a form. They are invisible. They are in the form of cosmic vibrations. We emanate another cosmic vibrations through seeking forgiveness, and we release them in the cosmos. By seeking forgiveness from all those people whom you know that you have hurt, by seeking forgiveness from all those souls whom you do not know that you have hurt. There are many people whom you do not know you have hurt, but yet you have hurt unknowingly. And they would have emanated negative vibrations. I am from Hyderabad, a southern city. One small instance how it works. There was one of my closely known person was traveling in a car, and the car stopped at a traffic signal. And in India, as usual, there are beggars on the traffic signal. So one of the beggar came and asked for some money. So he looked at that guy. He said, "Hey, why are you begging? You look to be young, healthy. Why are you begging? Why don't you work?" He said, "Sir, I have lost one hand and one leg. I can't work." These are the silly reasons. You have started enjoying begging, you don't want to work. So you are taking these silly reasons, escaping from doing some work. This is only an escape route. Go and work somewhere. Don't ask for alms. Don't beg. He taunted, he scolded that beggar. When you do something like this, it is but natural for that beggar to think negative about you, that someday if you also lose one of your hand and leg like me, you would realize my pain. And definitely that beggar would have thought like this. My closely known person, that friend, from that traffic signal, he went a kilometer, met with a serious accident. He lost one hand and one leg. This is the impact of negative vibrations. This is the impact of curse. This is the impact of wrong behavior. Sometimes we are in a very good position, a good state, maybe wealthy, maybe in a high position, and we left and right scold people, get angry, shout at them, pass unwanted comments, and the other person who's probably a lower guy than you, not that much wealthy, maybe a poor person, maybe not in a good state, before you, he will not say anything, but you cannot stop him from thinking negatively about you. You cannot stop anybody from thinking negatively about you. And if you make those people think negative about you, then those vibrations will go to the cosmos and will haunt you. One wrong action of yours, one wrong word, one little hurt will force the other person to emanate thousands of negative vibrations. It is not 1:1. Negative vibrations is never 1:1. If somebody hurts me by saying something wrong, maybe for 5 days I'll be thinking about that guy. He told me this, he told me that. What does he think of himself? When he suffers, when he gets into the pain, when he loses something, I'll be going on thinking. When my mind remains agitated, I'll be going on thinking like this. So against one action of mine, I am attracting thousands of negative vibrations against me, and they become the curse. First important thing to know is knowingly never hurt anybody's sentiments. Number two, unknowingly would have hurt. Seek forgiveness through meditation. There's a beautiful technique. You can sit in meditation. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in this session, we can make you practice meditation. During meditation, how to seek forgiveness. We can help you to practice that. We have seen miracles taking place. Through this technique of forgiveness, we have seen miracles taking place. I have seen enmity of 20 years converting into friendliness in 3 days. Enmity of 20 years. 3 days I made one person sit with me, made him seek forgiveness through meditation. And the person asked me, how many times should I seek forgiveness through meditation? I said, as many times as you want. The more you seek forgiveness through meditation, the quicker will be the result. In 3 days, that guy came to me, he was crying, he hugged me, he said, I can't believe my enemy, who was my closest friend, who became enemy, for 20 years they were strong enemies. And when this guy sought forgiveness in meditation, the other person doesn't know what is he doing. After 3 days, the other person came running to this person. He fell on his feet, he hugged him, he cried. He said, sorry, I apologize, I don't know why I was your enemy, I created enmity with you. The other guy came and sought forgiveness. The other guy came running and sought forgiveness. That was the power of seeking forgiveness. And I asked him, how many times you were seeking forgiveness through meditation? He said, 200 times every day. His intention was so intense to cut that enmity and convert into friendliness. So he was seeking forgiveness, and the result came in 3 days. So this is a very good technique. Please seek forgiveness for all the unknown acts which you would have committed. You do not know about it. You would have hurt many souls. They would have emanated a lot of negative vibrations. Protect yourself through seeking forgiveness. Now consciously stop hurting people. Drop expectations, increase acceptance. Your mind will become still. And when the mind becomes still, the moon will start reflecting in your mind. The moon here is the God consciousness, the supreme consciousness, the Almighty. That will start reflecting in your mind. It can only reflect in a still mind. Many of you would have known about Ashtanga Yoga here in Rishikesh or other parts of the world. Ashtanga Yoga talks of the complete enlightenment, samadhi. Ashtanga Yoga means eight steps to the enlightenment. And the first step, Ashtanga Yoga, is of Patanjali Rishi. You would have seen a lot of Patanjali boards here. 8 steps to enlightenment. And you know the first step is what? 8 steps are Yama, Niyama, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Yama, Niyama means the first step. Yama means good behavior, positive attitude, right behavior is Yama. Number 2, Niyama is disciplined life. So, Patanjali Rishi in Ashtanga Yoga has also started from behavior, good attitude, disciplined life to enlightenment. And his dhyana, which is called meditation, is Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. The 7th step is meditation. And Patanjali Rishi has said, you don't have to meditate. If you follow these 6 steps, behavior, attitude, disciplined life, concentrate, withdraw your senses, then he said your mind will automatically enjoy meditation. You don't have to meditate. Because meditation is going to be the result of your good behavior. If your mind is always calm, peaceful, it doesn't drift, it doesn't become negative. It is in a meditative state. You don't have to practice any meditation for that. You don't have to practice any yoga for that. Only when the mind is not in control, it is drifting, it is negative, we need to meditate. And if you meditate but do not focus on your behavioral aspect, you do not focus on your positive attitude, all the efforts of meditation will go waste. And if you don't meditate but follow good behavior, attitude, positivity, you're all the time in meditation. You will enjoy meditation while wake up. You will enjoy meditative state while talking to others. You will enjoy meditative state while eating food. You will enjoy meditative state while watching a movie. You will enjoy meditative state even while dancing. The physical body can be dancing. The physical body could be talking to somebody. The physical body could be doing business, profession. But within yourself will be in a meditative state. This is the state which we want to achieve while being as a human being. A great opportunity is given to us by the merciful God. He has told us, go my son, go to this world, go to Rishikesh, realize yourself. Realize yourself means realize me, because self is nothing other than the Almighty. The self is the supreme divine being. So God has sent us to realize himself. Realizing self is realizing himself. And these are the small things which we need to practice. Maybe tomorrow we can continue the same subject, and there would be some finer aspects to enlightenment. There would be little description of who you are, that being which I was talking about. In the human being, separate this human, separate the being. That being, I will try to make you realize. I will try to enlighten you on your real self, on your real being tomorrow here in this